Hello and welcome. What's going on, people? Welcome back to the channel. It has been a hot minute since we've done one of these. I've just concluded my tech check, sound check, all the rest for IEM Cologne. I thought it was no better time than now to talk about it, right? So I'm going to jump in towards all the discussion, talk about stage 1, then stage 2, and do a little bit of fantasy to finish it off. Make my predictions throughout how every single game I think is going to go, and then looking to build a bit of a fantasy team to see just how we can do. So without further ado, let's jump into it. We'll start things off, of course, with stage 1. And we'll start with the teams no much as well, right? We got FaZe, Furia, Pain, Astralis, Gamer Legion, 3D Max, Virtus.pro, Tyloo, Liquid, MRBR, Heroic, Bait, Complexity, Big, NIP, and FlyQuest as well. So these are our stage 1 teams. The top 8 of these make it in towards stage 2, which is where you see teams remaining like Vitality, Mouse, Mongol, Spirit, Aurora Falcons, Na'Vi, and G2. The big boys waiting in the wings as well. But this is a really exciting time. For me, it's my first time working on IEM Cologne. It's one of, if not the most prestigious events that we have in the calendar. I've had the luxury of attending multiple events, from majors to IEMs, blast events, but Cologne for me has always been the best of the best. And now getting a chance to work it is pretty damn surreal as well. So hopefully you guys will join me over on the B stream. I'll be doing the morning shifts with Scriv every single day for the first like 10 days or so. So come join us, show some support, show some love. It'll be really appreciative. But without further ado, let's get into the games. Let's talk about how I think things are going to go here as well. So FaZe Big to open things up. Now, couple of interesting talking points about this. You look towards FaZe. Brokey's back in the lineup. No Simple as well. We've obviously seen the discussions. His buyout with Na'Vi is still kind of in that spot where it just isn't really attainable as well. It's a shame. It's unfortunate. What can you do, right? It happens. So Brokey's back in. I think with a bit of time to rest and recuperate, hopefully he has that ability to shine again, as we have kind of seen Brokey do from time to time. On the flip side, an interesting point that's worth bringing up, and when I'll do this, I'll get rid of my headphones. I don't need to be wearing them. It's hot as hell in this room. Hyped is in the lineup. Now, for those who maybe weren't following too much Counter-Strike in the player break, Hyped did not play with Big or Team Germany at ISF. He had actually just undergone surgery, if I'm right in saying, and because of that, unable to play. He was recovering, and he still might even be recovering heading in towards this tournament too. So I'm interested to see how he's doing. I mean, Hyped is, for me, so important for this big lineup. He is so sick. He needs to play at that really, really high level. So hopefully he's feeling all good and well. But coming in towards that one, it's hard not to predict FaZe. Big, I think, have been in a really awkward kind of downwards trajectory for kind of a while. There's rumors milling around as well about changes coming through, and I'm sure some of you guys have heard of them as well. On Twitter, we saw it was Crimbo maybe not be staying in the lineup too. So this might be a last hurrah, but the only German side on home soil, right? They'd love to get off towards this tournament in a great start, because we also have a double elim bracket as well. It's not the end of the world if they are to lose, but just getting FaZe out of the way early really, really does cement stuff. Following that, Liquid versus Pain as well. Similar thing, sides going through changes. There's rumors about Davideus potentially leaving this lineup that have been kind of floating around. I don't think that's really going to be true. This Pain team for me have actually seemed sick. They've gone through enough changes, I think, as well, that I can't see them wanting to make too many more. In Big, as era I trust always seems to be the kind of the narrative that I bring to this. On the flip side, Shuhei's been an IGL that I've loved, and I think now we've been kind of given Liquid enough time to really show what they can do. So for me, I'm actually going to go Liquid here. As bold as that is to sound, I think Pain do have real nice moments and individuals, don't get me wrong, but I do kind of want to see Liquid finally get, you know, a show of what they can do. Twist and Nerds playing at that level, Ultimate finding some consistency as well, Shuhei calling, but I think the most important thing is it's NAF, right? That's been the conversation for this Liquid side for a while. NAF has completely fallen off from being at one point one of the best rifles we had in the scene to now being sort of non-existent. I want to try and get him back into being a somewhat stable part of this Liquid side. He's honestly, if we're being frank, it feels like he's not got many chances left. As much as we hear the kind of the narratives and the conversations about them giving him space and time, realistically, if NAF continues to underperform, especially to the level he's underperforming, his head's going to be on the chopping block. So he hasn't got many chances left. But I'm going to go Liquid for this one. 3D Max versus MRBR to follow. This one, for me, I don't know, 3D Max play, I think, a really tough style of Counter-Strike for me to enjoy. Don't get me wrong, I think they pick up good wins, and I think they're a side who I think 3D Max are one of the best teams at punching up compared to a lot of teams. I think Gamer Legion are kind of in a similar vein where they do a lot without a lot type vibe, right? And I think this is a side that are always kind of cool. And I actually probably do favor them here against MIBR. I just find 3D Max's style of Counter-Strike at times a little dull, but if it gets the wins, it gets the wins. I guess ultimately all that really matters. I mean, on the flip side, you know, you're looking towards MIBR. Obviously, Nick's in this lineup, for me, underperforming, as you can see by the statistics, but we need a lot out of him. His recent, you know, if we look kind of off the back of the last year, he's just not been that notable name that I think a lot of people expected from him. And there's a lot of requirements for Insanity to go huge in this team. And if he doesn't, and he gets shut down too, they struggle. Where on the flip side, I think 3D Max have so many different, you know, avenues and abilities to find firepower. So I'm going to go them for that one. We've got the meme team Derby coming through, and memes in terms of their social media presence. I think both of these two organizations do some of the best work when it comes towards social media, especially Heroic. I think Heroic probably are the best in terms of their social media managers. They're pretty incredible stuff, what they do over on Twitter or X, the everything app. But this should be an interesting game. I still favor Heroic here, kind of every day of the week. But there's parts to like over towards NIP. Of course, you've got Kaspersky coming in, coming over from Ents. I think he's fantastic, really solid player. Has actually a really high ceiling as well, but can be inconsistent at times. But I think this NIP team as a whole are really interesting. I think they've kind of got like the right pieces. We just haven't seen them all really click. And now that Kaspersky's been added in towards the team, he can help out you jerks in terms of the firepower. So I am interested in them. I just don't think they break down Heroic for me. Tanir, incredible rifler. We've seen what he can do. Youngster, also somebody who can step up in a big way. They do bring Nilo back into lineup. And the big thing for me is Grix. Now, this is a guy that I could do a video in itself on. I think Grix is one of the most promising AWPers we've had come through the tier 2 in a long time. Basically, I didn't do my kind of ones to watch video at the start of the year. And I might make that kind of like ones to watch for the second half of the season. But my ones to watch list, my top two, I'm pretty sure, were Molodoy and Grix, both of which are now being picked up by tier 1 organizations. Molodoy, we've already seen what he can do, of course, at Furia, and Grix is fantastic. There's actually an argument to be made as well that Grix might even be better, so keep an eye on him. He should have been picked up in towards last season, somehow wasn't. I'm glad he's finally got a team now. I think this is a real opportunity for him to seriously farm. Then we've got Gamer Legion Complexity. This is actually going to be my first game on the B stream as well, so make sure to come join us for that one. And a narrative I'm going to be bringing in towards that is, has Ash found a new superstar in Kersey? And the answer could be yes. Kersey is somebody that's been on my mind for a little while. I saw him in the Gen 1 kind of like Academy French side. And he always looked pretty interesting, pretty sharp as a player. So Gamer Legion might have found a new gem to really work off as well. I still feel like we need a little bit more out of individuals like Towson, as much as we're not calling on him to be a hero by any means. Just adding like a 0.05, right? It goes a long way to making this Gamer Legion side once again pushing for playoffs and pushing for deep runs. On the flip side, for Complexity, narrative's really there, all about can we actually get Sixy playing to the level that he can. You know, when we look at Sixy in the past, he was so enjoyable when they would go to like ESL challenges, for example. Sixy was a beast, right? But we've not seen that since he's come in towards Complexity. He's struggled to find his consistency. Nyx as well, he's also been underperforming, and you can tell there's that real gulf where they've not got Elysian anymore, and they're lacking that sheer input of firepower. So for me, I'm actually going to go Game Elysian to take this one over Complexity. Then we got Tyloo VP. I'm Tyloo all day, baby. Off the back of a championship at the Fissure Playground, a trophy under their belt as well. Jam Young looking like one of the best players we've had coming out of China, maybe ever as well, with performances he's been putting up recently. He's a bona fide superstar, and he has been so sick to watch. So for me, Jam Young, I think he alone can put this VP side under so much pressure, who, of course, are under so much pressure. Electronic still not playing at the level we want to see. Perfecto looking very weak in his first tournament as well, back in the limelight. And there's so much onus on Flit to do so much of the heavy lifting here that Tyloo, they just seem as a team more holistic. So I think a pretty simple 2-0 for them to open things up there. VP are difficult to break down, don't get me wrong, but Tyloo, man, I like what I see there. Then we got Astralis Bait. This is going to be my second game over on the B stream as well. And for me in this one, I'm actually going to lean Astralis. As much as my tier 2 brain wants to go Bait just for the love of the game, I actually think second place at Fissure, you can see now with Huxley leading this team that there is moments to like, right? And this is a side that are playing back to the Counter-Strike and the level that we kind of want to see of them. So I do feel Astralis can actually make a really good run here, getting towards stage 2, actually for the most part relatively unscathed as well. So they've been good, but they've not played in ages. Also, when we did see them last play at Austin, it wasn't fantastic. But then again, in Austin as well, they also beat Astralis 2-1. So you're kind of weighing up that. And it was only like, what, 2.5, 3 months ago? So not exactly a long time ago from when they played. So it feels weird, but I am going to say Astralis here. I think just especially off the back of Fissure, I just think there was a lot to like there. And I just think Bait maybe a little rusty off the back of quite a long off-season of not playing officials. That can sometimes take a bit of time to get right, let's say. And then final game, of course, is going to be FlyQuest Furia. I'm going to go Furia here. I just think Molodoi has been fantastic. I already spoke about him a little bit as well. Yukindar back in this team, also good. Now, there is obviously this narrative about Yukindar, you know, dropping form when he gets the contract. That's been a bit of a joke that people have thrown around, and that is maybe valid at times. Of course, we've seen him kind of really have these high peaks right at the start of his tenureship in teams and really quite rapidly drop. But I do like what we see in Fury. Of course, Case Rata is still, you know, the best rifler in the server. I think Regali Molodoi is a really interesting battle of a head-to-head of the AWPers. I'm a huge Regali fan. Anyone who knows me knows that me and him go way back, and I'm interested to see what he can do. This side looks cool, and of course they've got JKS back in the lineup too, which I'm excited to see, man. JKS back on FlyQuest, that should be super sick. And hopefully this FlyQuest team can find the stability that they've been missing, right? Of course, I think it was time for Liaz to go. The big worry for me, and always the big worry with FlyQuest, is I just think we still need more out of Inns, right? Inns is not playing to the level that I want to be seeing out from him. So with that being said, I think Furia take it. But from the top, making it through, I think FaZe are my first side to make it through, right? In this sort of bracket of teams here. I think Heroic on my second side to make it through this sort of side of brackets. I think Tyloo on my third side from here. And I think Astralis on my fourth side. Then when we look towards the lower bracket, comes a little bit funkier as well, but essentially who's the second best here. I'm going to go Liquid over from this side of things. Up here, I'm actually going to go 3D Max to make it through as my, sixth team. From this side, it's a little tough because part of me wants to kind of throw that VP in there, but I'm actually going to go Gamer Legion just for the love of the game, and in Ash I trust as well. And my kind of second team from this one, I'm going to go Furia to make it through. I want to say Bait. I'm just worried that because Bait have not played Counter-Strike in a decent amount of time, not officials that is, I'm just a little concerned that they might be a little rusty. So that's how it's going to pan out. In towards stage 2, I'm not going to make too many predictions as a sense in terms of head-to-heads and whatnot, because we don't know how things are going to pan out. But what I can say is, for me, I know it's, you know, beating a bit of a dead horse here. Vitality should win this tournament. I can't see a world in which they don't. Spirit, for me, still not looking at the level I want to look at them. However, for those who don't know, as you can see, Zwei now in the side. And those who haven't maybe caught Zwei in the past, actually a real talent. I think with the right players around him, Zwei can actually really shine. I think compared to Magic's, this on paper should be an injection of firepower. It's just actually whether he's comfortable yet in this team. It's not obviously kind of been that long, so that'll be very interesting. So that's a big change, of course, worth mentioning. Mongols, they're still the same. Love the Mongols. Hope they make a deep run. I want to see them make the semis. That'll be super sick if they can. Maus, of course, aside, who I think are always difficult to dispatch as a whole, so I do expect a relatively deep run out of them. Aurora, I think they have a thing about if they do make it to playoffs, they go out pretty early. And I don't know, Aurora do always worry me. They've got the individuals and they've got the players, but they don't seem to perform to that level. I'll save the big bit for last as well. But of course, on towards Na'Vi, they got Makaze now playing. Got to be one of the most exciting riflers. I know this narrative is all going to be about Kaisuke heading in towards this tournament, but he's going to be overlooked. Keep an eye on Makaze. This kid is super talented. Coming in for JL as well, who's taken a break. And G2, as you can see, they got Matties from Fnatic and some Pius as well, who's come through from Heroic. And Saw is obviously the coach of this side as well. Hunter now calling to. I think G2 probably don't do a lot in towards the tournament, but I do expect in the future this side to actually kind of be maybe a little bit exciting. We'll have to see. It's hard to tell right now, but I think they're a side that can maybe be in and around conversations, but deep runs, I don't see it just yet. I'm going to give them a few tournaments to get them on the belt, to get kind of given the patience to really develop as a side. New coach, new system, new caller, new AWPer, new rifler coming in as well. It can be kind of interesting. The big one, of course, Falcons. Kaisuke coming in towards this team. For me, obviously, he's going to be holding the limelight a lot in the same vein that Donk did back in Kato last year, where it's like new rifler. He's touted as kind of like, maybe even more so than Donk and maybe even Monesi as well. I think kind of Kaisuke has the most pressure to perform immediately comparatively to those two. Yeah, kind of Monesi, who came from the academy side straight into tier 1, the 600k price tag, that was a pretty big kind of pressure. Donk was a wonder kid that like people who'd watched the We Play Academy leagues and watched a bit of kind of that tier 2 and 3, we all knew was super, super good, but no one expected that level of performance and everyone was kind of pleasantly surprised. But Kaisuke, he's expected to perform so rapidly because of, well, first and foremost, the price tag put on top of his head, but also the team he's joining, right? Falcons, they expect greatness immediately. So I hope he deals with it well. I think if he does have the right people around him, thankfully, Zonic and Lars and all the rest, it should be exciting. Falcons, I'm expecting for them probably actually to join Vitality in the final, but I don't think they can beat them just yet. But I think there will be a time, at least in this year, in this second season of 2025, where Falcons do pick up a trophy. Kaisuke, he is that kind of generationalist talent for the last kind of year and a half. He is that player coming through. I think Makate is very close. Definitely keep an eye on him. If he can keep his mental in check, I think it can be really, really exciting kind of head-to-head of those two. But yeah, Falcons I expect to perform here. So I'm maybe even saying a finals performance from them, which might be a little bold to say considering they've got a new player in, but keep tabs on it. So we'll finish things off with a bit of fantasy as well. I've not even prepped this beforehand, so we can kind of work it out together. There's a few players that I want to get in early and looking through. I mean, I'm always looking for sort of budget ones. I think nice and simple. I'm going to start with Jam Young. I think that's a pretty simple one to say. Off the back of Fissure, he looked incredible. So I'm going to go him to kickstart in my team. And he's actually not that expensive. 205,000. I think that's pretty damn good for me. I'm pretty happy with that. There's a real temptation to go heroic here and to go like, Tania as like a gold player, for example, is not bad. But I do wonder how this team's going to look. Nilo coming back in, hasn't played for like 6 months. Grix also he's played, but he's not like played these big tournaments because, of course, previous Aurora, before they picked up the Eternal Fire roster, even they were on basically a real downward trajectory. I think since Deco left that side, they were on a real downward trajectory. Big, I don't actually want to touch. I don't even know if Big will get a win. NIP, I'm tempted not to touch. If I was going to go anywhere here, I would actually maybe go Kaspersky. I kind of like the JKS pickup, but I don't think they're going to make it through. So this is where things become awkward, because I kind of want players who are going to make it through. So I feel like I have to get somebody from FaZe. And maybe, I don't think Brokey is a good pickup here, but maybe actually somebody like a Rain couldn't be too bad. Carrigan also a decent shout as maybe just like the kind of like the IGL type vibe. That's also a vibe, potentially. I need an AWPer, I need a good rifler. I think maybe I'm going to go I'm going to go Carrigan here, he's a little cheaper. I need a decent AWPer. Device is an option. Molodoy is an option too. And I think Furia are going to make it through. So is he better? Then G's also not that expensive either. This is the issue. Do I go 2 from Tyloo and really back the boys off the back of a nice win? Maybe I do. Maybe I go G here and then try and round it out with like 2 goal players. Elige could be a great shout. And that leaves me with how much have I got in the bank? 189,000. We can get a player here. The question is who? And are they going to be any good? Nilo is not a terrible shout. 60 I don't really want to pick up. Same for Tabson or QB. Ujerks has moments of popping off. And same for Vexite as well. The question is, who do I think goes deeper? Out of Flaggers. I think I'm tempted to go Ujerks here. But I think Heroic might make it through, which might even just help Nilo a little bit, even though he's not played in ages. I'm going to go Nilo. I want to take the gamble on Nilo. That's what I'm going to go with. Am I perfectly zero? I am. That's actually not too bad, Jam Young, G, Carrigan, Elige, Nilo. I've obviously put a lot of onus in Tyloo and FaZe here. If either one of them doesn't make it through to stage 2, I'm in trouble. But either way, that'll be fine. We're going to lock that one in. I think that's going to be good. The roles, I can do the roles at a later date. No, we may as well. We may as well. Jamyong, or I mean, I'm not really the best when it comes towards fantasy, so I kind of just go percentages more than anything. Headshot machine's not bad. I probably want to do multi-fragger more than anything, or maybe T-side. I feel like T-side is probably the best for him. Maybe more than multi-fragger. It depends about a liege actually. What are the liege? 55% small. Maybe okay. I'm gonna go a liege multi-fragger. I'm gonna go Jamyong attacker. And then gonna go G on the main orb. I'm gonna go Karrigan as my IGL, but also maybe Eco could be good. I think Eco friendly is actually probably the better one for him. Karrigan does pick up that a lot. And then, man, we're gambling here. I probably with Nilo more than anything. Support or defender are the two that I'm leaning towards. I think roles wise, I probably actually want to put him defender more than anything. Support would be good because obviously they look towards Tanir a lot in that team to crack open things. Maybe actually, no, I'm going to go defender because I did actually like what I saw from him in tier 2 when he was back at his best. I thought he was pretty good at kind of locking it down. So that's what I'm going to go with. I'm going to go with those as my lineup. But in the end, that is everything, right? Basically from me. So that's Cologne. It's starting tomorrow, 9:30 UK time, 10:30 in Europe. If you're in America or anywhere else in the world, I can't actually tell you, but it's much earlier in the morning. But come join. Myself and Scriv are going to kickstart things on the B stream. We're really excited. First ever Cologne for me. An absolute honor. I cannot wait to get it underway as well. I'm going to be adding more to the setup behind me as well whilst the rest of this afternoon goes on. So I'm excited. See you guys tomorrow. Thank you for watching. If you're new around here, like, subscribe, all of the good stuff. Until next time, see you soon.